Here we are on part 3 of answering the question, what is my why? And in this part, we get down to the heart and soul of the matter, which is the spiritual energy, and my own personal journey to finding what essential spirituality actually looked like. Because, see, as I have mentioned previously, I feel like I am in this world, but not of this world. There is something beyond this physical body that offers so much of the depth, intuition, and compassion that I am capable of offering out to the world. Many times I am feeling empowered and feeling like I am being carried by a force far greater than myself. And so, as you can imagine, when the headaches hit in my teenage years, and when the depression of experiencing those headaches fell upon me, I started asking more and more questions of what is this all about? Why is there so much suffering? And what is my greater purpose in life? Now, at that point, I had already gotten intuition on my role in this life. See, it was the age of 13 that the spark of becoming a physical therapist entered in. And that spark continued as I went through college and entered into graduate school. It was actually that spark that helped open my eyes to the way traditional religion really focuses on service within the religion as the greatest way of making spiritual advancement. See, I was getting ready to enter into graduate school, and I had been a part of an evangelical Christian church. With me entering into grad school, I did not get to pick my schedule. I did not get to pick anything. And I was encouraged to not work. The focus was on getting through physical therapy school. As I approached the leaders to speak about stepping back so that I could focus on my career and focus on that being my deepest calling in life, I was met with disdain. I was told that I should really be focusing on church activities and church service before anything else. And this left me in a world of confusion, but my inner intuition was saying, trust your heart. You've got to go for your career. And man, what a career it has been, whether working with children who were medically fragile or entering into the deep vulnerability of serving people in their darkest hours while they were hospitalized. I have had an amazing career of service and of offering the love and compassion that true spirituality speaks of. And yet, it was the religion that couldn't understand this aspect of care out in the world. It wasn't until December of 2022 that I finally found somebody following a spiritual tradition or a religious path that understood that service out in the world beyond the four walls of the temple or the church was my greatest calling. And she honored that in such incredible and amazing ways. And it's something that I hadn't experienced in 20 plus years of my own search. And how unbelievably sad is that? Now, I know that many of us have been involved in various religions and various institutions. And with that, we may have experienced some real soul level harm as we have interacted. I know I personally have. And it's been something that if I didn't have a lens of being able to trust my own personal inner intuition, trust what resonated with me, then I would have been crushed by a soul level betrayal that really has no words to be able to express. I have felt the deep grief of these betrayals time and time again. Being caught up in serving beyond my capacity and receiving harshness and cruelty in return when I was dealing with very real, human, messy emotions and life circumstances. There is a term called spiritual bypassing. And as I learned about this term, I recognized just how much those who are interacting with religion on a surface and literal level end up spiritually bypassing not only their own hearts and souls, but unknowingly bypass those of us who are truly trying to seek a depth of answers that many religionists actually cannot answer because they are stuck on the surface. Now, one thing I will say is I am unbelievably grateful for the ways that I was able to dive deeper beyond the literal translations of any wisdom text I picked up and be able to see the metaphorical lessons and the deeper life lessons that pointed to an essential spirituality rooted in loving mercy for ourselves and for those around us. Justice, especially when it comes to oppression of the vulnerable and the weak, as well as a depth of understanding that true spirituality lies in finding the beauty, the joy, the magic, and the mysticism of life. The more we connect to who we have always been before the world got to us and conditioned us and told us who to be, the greater capacity we have to tap into that wise inner guide residing right within our hearts. And yes, it has taken being burned in the fire of meeting my own conditioning, my own shadow parts, and my own weaknesses. Trusting that love and compassion was right there with me the entire time, whether the outside world showed me that or whether I had to tap into that through praying to my divine guide to help give me the vision of where I am meant to go. I cannot deny the visions that have been given to me. I wouldn't be here today without those visions, without the intuition to break free from what was becoming a more and more broken healthcare system so that I can meet you in a holistic way, in a way that thinks outside of the box, that moves beyond societal norms and finds the essence of who you are. And let me tell you, every single one of us has a spark of genius, has a spark of amazing gifts and talents that are unique to each one of us. And what makes the greatest difference when we come together in community is actually honoring and appreciating those unique gifts and seeing how each one of us brings our uniqueness to the table to cultivate a blend of unity in diversity. And when we pool our gifts and talents and creative abilities together, that's where empowerment and upliftment has the capacity to shine brightly. Now, one thing that I have heard as well as deeply experienced in this lifetime is that true spiritual growth and true inner empowerment does not come from a giant institution. It comes from the small groups, the small communities of like-minded souls coming together, seeking depth, seeking wisdom, and seeking deeper transformation through the power of uplifting and encouraging one another while holding one another accountable. And this is why I am so focused on building a community of like minded women who are ready to break free from the chains of society and discover what it means to live life on our terms and with our wise inner guide shining the light ahead for us. Now, this is a deep dive of an adventure into the unknown. I am here today adventuring into the unknown, not knowing what is going to come of these offerings. And yet, I have a wholehearted belief that the more I show up with authenticity, with joy, and with an understanding that my greatest purpose lies in turning my heartbreak into my greatest power, then the results will speak for themselves in due course of time. One of the greatest lessons that I have learned is that when we put in aligned effort, somehow things magically work out. We may not find ourselves where we want to be immediately. And yet, as I look back over the course of my life, I can see how every single event has been some sort of thread stitching a beautiful tapestry that I am now sharing with all of you. And this is what spirituality is all about. Finding those threads of joy, of playfulness, of creativity, of curiosity, and of confidence and empowerment. Knowing that when we tap into who we are, our wise best friend and the divine energy filled with loving mercy and wisdom enters in and offers us the support, the nourishment, and the love the cores of our hearts have always been craving. This is how I continue to break free from the chains of people pleasing, the chains of codependency, the chains of believing that my sensitivity was a weakness. It is through tapping into that inner strength, inner love, and inner wisdom that I have found the courage and confidence to move forward in presence and shining my light, knowing that as my light shines, it will hopefully shine a light on your path as well. If any of this is resonating with you, I would love to get on a 30-minute discovery call so that we can talk about your personal experience and see how empowering you through nourishing mind, body, and spirit can lead to the transformation that your soul is seeking. Sending you so much love. Namaste.